Pokémon is whack. Metal Gear Solid is ultimate. That's right, I've sold out to a dead franchise. I am here to preach to you all about how Metal Gear Solid is pretty much the greatest video game series ever created. For those of you that haven't played Metal Gear Solid, I highly recommend them. Obviously, they're still accessible to play via the HD collection on the PlayStation 3. Don't ask why there's not one on PS4? Please don't ask that. This list will contain spoilers for the entire series. Yes, every single Metal Gear Solid game is on this list. Oh darn, I think I just spoiled the list. Number 10, Snake meets Otakon. Metal Gear Solid 1 is such a classic. If only Metal Gears 1 and 2 were the same. Metal Gear Solid has many emotional moments and character developments that bring a tear to the soul. While this isn't necessarily one of those moments, this scene just means so much in the grand scheme of things. This is the first time in the series Snake interacts with Otakon, and the two of them would form one of the greatest partnerships in gaming. They're friends to the core, and seeing Otakon start out as the meek hostage Dr. Emmerich really puts into perspective just how far they've come by the end of Metal Gear Solid 4. But no spoilers, even though I said you needed to have played the entire series to understand this list. Ignore me! Number 9. Big Boss returns to Mother Base. After realizing too many people would be angry at me for putting the Skullface car ride, seriously, I feel like the only one in the world who actually liked that scene, I recalled this heart-wrenching moment. See, I adore Peace Walker. Pretty much everything about it. Military San Frontieres, Miller, the Sandinistas, Strangelove, Paz, or Pacifica Ocean or whatever. Seeing it go down in flames was a lot to take in, especially considering how long it took to make Mother Base what it was in Peace Walker. Yup, that's how many hours I put in the Peace Walker. Just poof. Thanks, Skullface. And thanks, Huey. More spoilers. When Big Boss returns from his vacation to Guantanamo Bay, he discovers the place is on fire and blowing up. He saves his right-hand man, McDonald Miller, or Kazuhira Miller, who notes that they were played like a fiddle. And things just get worse and worse and worse and very, very, very much worse. And no, that's not a jab at Metal Gear Solid 5's quality. Sit down. Number 8, Rex vs. Ray. This really should be further down the list, but it's not. Believe it or not, Metal Gear Solid can sort of be regarded in the mecha genre. Trust me, you get distracted from the giant robots with all the tactical espionage action and whatnot. But this is the first time in the series. Yes, first time. This is the first time in the series that a Metal Gear goes one-on-one with another Metal Gear, and it cannot be more fitting to have this battle take place between arguably the two most important Metal Gears in the entire series. Metal Gear Rex, the original Metal Gear that threw this world into chaos by existing. Every country, military, and .com has their own Metal Gear because of Rex and the schematics it leaked out. Oh, and speaking of .com, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. Have you ever wished a video would actually be sponsored by something worth using? Well, keep looking, because NordVPN isn't that. Anyway, standing opposite Rex is Metal Gear Ray, the anti-Metal Gear, whose mass production and sleek design has Rex pretty much rendered obsolete. But this fight isn't so simple as to just which model is superior. So much goes on here. Character-wise, story-wise, general theming, there is a reason it is so beloved. Number 7, Naked Snake duels Ocelot at the end of Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 is considered by many to be the best Metal Gear Solid. Also Metal Gear Solid 2, but that thing was like the last Jedi in the eyes of the fans when it came out, good lord. In honesty, it is sort of like Snake meeting Otakon for the first time. Naked Snake is dueling his greatest rival, Ocelot, before the two would become the legends they were fated to be. This scene has everything. Emotion,
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Humor, tension,
Eva!
and straight up epicness.
What's your name? Snake. No. Not that name. You're not a snake, and I'm not an ocelot. We're men with names. My name is Adamska. What's yours? John.
This was truly the beginning to the bromance between Titans, the greatest soldier who ever lived, Big boss, and the doubliest double agent in history, Revolver Ocelot. Number 6. Mother Base Funeral. In my opinion, Metal Gear Solid 5 is so underappreciated. Does it have the weakest story? Maybe, but I am in the camp that the story of Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't bad, there just wasn't enough of it. I will die on this hill. Fight me. The Phantom Pain brought along with it moments for the sake of moments. Missions that are very narratively moving just seem to kind of come out of nowhere. It does affect the flow, but I do feel like a side op coming out of nowhere really paid off this time. Basically, you are suddenly forced into a mission to learn what happened to a quarantine zone on Mother Base. After walking around for approximately 10 seconds, it is very easy to assume that something really bad happened here. It is then you get the orders.
You have to shoot, boss. We can't let them outside.
It is horrific. These men and women that you have personally recruited and trained are now infected from this deadly virus that are driving them mad. And it is extremely contagious. There are no alternatives. You must kill them all. And every bullet you fire is not only killing a member of your family, but it's also killing a part of yourself. Venom Snake personally wants to send off the deceased during their burial. But instead of letting them flow out of the urn and become nothing, he utters this.
I won't scatter your sorrow to the heartless sea. I will always be with you. Plant your roots in me. I won't see you end as ashes. You're all diamonds.
That is beautiful. I know a lot of people were either grossed out or disturbed by turning the ashes of human beings into diamonds, and I won't say whether it was correct or not, but Venom's sincerity in spreading the ashes across his face to ensure these souls would live on through him forever is just lovely. It's riveting. I adore it, and I adore Metal Gear Solid 5. Number 5. Big Boss tries to stop Peace Walker. You know what's really good? Peace Walker. I mean, I think I know what I'm talking about. You might as well just call me Big Bro. And I had to put this entry so high up on the list simply from how overlooked it is. The fight with Peace Walker at the end of the game has the highest stakes in any Metal Gear Solid before or since. That's right, Metal Gear Solid 3 Pachinko has nothing on this climax. To put simply, Peace Walker is going to blow up the world by instigating all the country's nuclear defenses to trigger. America thinks Russia is gonna nuke them and they're going to retaliate. But really, there is no nuke coming. It is just sending a signal that will trigger America's defensive systems into thinking one is coming. No problem, right? I mean, can't they just call Washington and tell them the nukes are fake? Well, yeah, they do.
Call NORAD. We have to tell them the nukes aren't real.
But wait, how do they believe Big Boss is telling the truth? It's okay, they remember him.
He claims to be Big Boss. Big Boss? Patch him through.
The radar blips you're seeing are all fakes. No one's launched any nukes.
Everybody, listen to me. Those Soviet missiles are fakes.
Well, I think that's a wrap. America will stand down and I hate humanity.
Sorry, Chairman, but we are not standing down.
They only got one more option. Destroy Peace Walker. Problem is that Peace Walker is built to survive a nuclear holocaust. Translation, it might be kind of hard to blow up. That is until Best Girl Strangelove notices that the AI within Peace Walker is actually deciding to open up for them. Yay! But nothing happens when Big Boss gets inside. Boo! This scene plays with your heartstrings so much. Every single time you think that crisis is averted, something else pops up telling you, oh no, the end of the world is still very much happening. All this, and arguably David Hayter's best performance as Snake to date.
Why? I don't understand. Answer me. Tell me why. Answer me.
And you've got one incredible climax to an incredibly underrated Metal Gear Solid. Better than Metal Gear Solid 5 in my opinion. Number 4, Ocelot hijacks Ray. Ocelot goes shopping for a new Metal Gear. First place he decides to stop is a marine tanker filled with marines. Dude doesn't play. Revolver Ocelot is pretty much the wild card of the franchise, and he can pull off pretty much anything he sets his mind to. So if Ocelot walks up to you in your giant $1 million robot and casually says, "I'm taking it back," without having a weapon drawn as you have 17 men ready to fire, you best be ready to hear him out for a second. Or maybe just shoot him, maybe. Ocelot single-handedly, and yes, I do say single-handedly because he decides to shoot the terrorists he came in with, steals Metal Gear Ray, and sinks the entire tanker in style. Really, really cool sequence of events. And if that wasn't enough,
Ocelot!
ooh, that gives me Metal Gear goosebumps. Number 3. Wait. I think I want to do an honorable mention. Let me just, I think... Yeah, okay, that's good, Okay. Number 3.5, Writin Vs Armstrong. Pretty much all of it. Again, I guess that doesn't really make it a moment, but hopefully no one will hound me in the comments for that. The reason I feel odd in including it is while it is technically canon, it isn't actually a Metal Gear Solid. Like, it really is not a Metal Gear Solid. That being said, if I don't talk about this now, there will never be a time I can. The reason this confrontation rocks is because it is so unabashedly anime. I've never really found a boss fight that makes me laugh, gives me chills, and also presents a solid motivation for a villain you literally just met. Senator Armstrong is one of the most random characters I have ever seen in a video game. Rising is definitely over the top, but Armstrong comes out of nowhere and it isn't really even foreshadowed. That being said, the twist of who he really is pretty dang delightful to say the least. The dude talks about his career in college football, degrades celebrity news, and treats the whole encounter like a political debate. The kicker being that he beats the heck out of his opponent. Literally, he is ridiculously fun. Oh, and have you heard his music? Trust me, it is as epic and strange in context than it is out of context. Number 3, Solid as Snake atop Federal Hall. Do you know what day it is today? Sorry, I always wanted to say that. Also, it doesn't work because April 30th is 29 days away and I'm uploading this on the 1st. Ugh, maybe I should have just made this a premiere. Anywho, Metal Gear Solid 2 is that one game in the franchise everyone is like, oh yeah, no, I totally loved it when it came out. It's a masterpiece then, and it's a masterpiece now. Yeah, I doubt that. This scene is iconic. And fun fact, I didn't remember Federal Hall was in New York when I went there for a vacation, so I pretty much reacted like Solidus upon seeing it when we turned the corner.
Federal Hall.
I was really dumb. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty is filled with many themes and concepts that have aged well. In my opinion, it definitely is the most replayable game in the franchise. Every time I play it, I find something new, or start thinking about what the characters are saying in a different way. I could trace a lot of these philosophical discussions back to the villain of the game, Solidus Snake, the third son of Big Boss and a perfect clone. You could tell because he's old and eye patch, even though he got the eye patch in the events of the game. Just ignore that part. He wants what every villain wants. Freedom and democracy for all regardless of who they are. Wait, that's not what every villain wants. Why is he the villain again?
By the way, Jack, I was the one who killed your parents.
Oh, right. Well, thanks for revealing that and making it a lot more black and white. And just when I overlooked you shooting a young mother in the head. Number 2, Big Boss salutes the boss. So yeah, now we're here. And number 2, arguably the most iconic shot in the franchise. And oddly enough, one of the most cosplayed versions of Big Boss. People love this scene, and I do as well. To paint a picture, John just killed his mentor, the boss. Not out of hatred or any other ideals, but only because he was told to do it. It was his mission. Also, he would be killed if he didn't do it, but just ignore that part. Thing is though, the boss was innocent. Back in the USA, Naked Snake is awarded
that filthy title given you as reward for murder.
And becomes Big Boss. After an awkward handshake that just screams you have my loyalty as a soldier but not as a human being, Big Boss visits the unknown grave, a vague place saying there was once a patriot who saved the world. John, a man who was called wonderful by the very mentor he killed, begins his journey as Big Boss right here. A journey that would lead to the construction of a society that would never mistreat their soldiers ever again. It's wonderful. And it lands. As much as I love Hideo Kojima, I can admit that some of his stuff doesn't.
Great. So I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach.
Yeah. Like Mario and Princess Peach.
Number 1. Big Boss talks with Snake in the cemetery. I guess this can't be really classified as a moment considering it goes on for about 26 minutes, but I'm making an exception. Again. To me, this is pretty much the penultimate moment in Metal Gear Solid itself. The entire saga up to now was building to this point. Even though Big Boss pretty much had to be retconned into a tragic figure due to the existence of Metal Gear Solid 3 actually making the guy a pretty decent human being, the translation of him and Snake remaining enemies still holds up. They are two opposite sides of the same coin. Snake is everything that Big Boss failed to be. Good and righteous, a hero, while Big Boss is everything Solid Snake is not. Successful in his endeavors, and he got to make all of his own choices in life. Big Boss lived as a free man, not bound by his genetic or any Patriots. Even though Snake killed him twice, kinda, Big Boss is here again, baby. He was burned on the boat earlier in the game, but that was actually Solidus Snake. Yep. Solidus. Good lord, does that guy get screwed so many times in this franchise. After a CQC hug, aka the most manly way a father can show love to his son, any transgressions between these two seem to be extinguished. They both come to an understanding of who the other is. And after a few minutes of them talking, Big Boss succumbs to a virus designed to kill all the bad guys as well as him. Big Boss gives Snake hope, telling him that he doesn't have to die and that he can keep on living. Trust me, it makes more sense in context. And Snake helps his father light the last cigar he'll ever smoke. Big Boss dies asking,
This is good, isn't it?
almost like he always needed validation from others to make the choices he did. He had Major Zero, Roy Campbell, oh wait, that's not canon, Kazuhira Miller, Ocelot, and now his own clone he sees as a son. People have issues with Metal Gear Solid 4 for reasons I'll never fully understand, but this is pretty much the perfect ending to such a grand story. Also, after this game, Snake got some de-aging serum and joined Super Smash Brothers! Da 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 da. Okay, I'm actually just kidding. This series is so strange that people who never played it will ask me if that's actually what happened. Thanks so much for watching this video, the one that I made. I hope this didn't convince you to play Metal Gear Solid, as I pretty much ruined everything in it and now this franchise is spoiled for you. Haha! I can't even fake laugh. Maybe you're one of those people who don't get their experience ruined by spoilers. I would say I envy you if you weren't a weirdo. If you are this person, roast me in the comments because I just insulted you. Also comment if you have a Metal Gear Solid moment that you enjoy, even if it's from Super Smash Brothers. I won't judge.